We're pleased to be joined by Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press. Kristen, thank you for taking some time to speak with us. For years, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has been highly critical of California as a whole, and specifically California Governor Gavin Newsom. But this week, DeSantis said that he would send aid to help with those Los Angeles wildfires. What does that offer of aid tell you about the state of politics in our country?
On the one hand, I do think you have an all-hands-on-deck approach to helping California right now. The devastation, the tragedy, the crisis that they are still in the middle of dealing with. The fact that Governor DeSantis is saying, yes, we are here for you and to stand with you in this moment of crisis, I think signals quite a bit. I also think what I'm going to be curious to see is, will Congress approve new aid in the new year? We know that President Biden has said that he wants the federal government to pay for 100% of what California needs in order to rebuild. Will the incoming commander-in-chief, President-elect Trump, abide by that? Will he make sure that the federal government does, in fact, stand with California in that way? We also know that President-elect Trump has been quite critical of the response of Governor Newsom. Disaster relief politics are quite fraught. We know that Governor Newsom will be judged for what he does, what he doesn't do in this moment, as will President-elect Trump. Could some of this finger-pointing backfire once he takes office? We'll have to see how it all plays out. But I think that you hit at a really important point in citing Governor Ron DeSantis saying, yes, we are going to give aid to California right now, because I think every single state in this nation is hurting watching what is happening in California right now.
Incoming White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles lives in Ponte Vedra. She's local for us. A number of other key members of President-elect Trump's cabinet nominations are also from Florida. What's the national perspective of Florida politics being brought to the national stage?
President-elect Trump, of course, has Mar-a-Lago. He spends a lot of time in Florida. As you say, Susie Wiles, who is credited with running a really tight ship throughout the course of his campaign, is now going to be charged with being chief of staff. All accounts show that she is planning to run the White House in the same exact way. So I do think the fact that the president-elect has those very local connections is significant. And I think that you're going to see that connection with Florida continue for the next 4 years.
Over the last 3 years, the state of Florida has received a high amount of criticism for an increase in abortion restrictions, an increase in the type of books being pulled off of school shelves due to the content, amid other conservative-leaning policies. Yet Republicans have a strong majority at the state level, and Trump won Florida by 13%. So how important is the state of Florida in the rollout of Republican policies?
Well, it's a good question, and I think it's one that will be discussed and debated over time. But I do think that the politics in Florida are going to continue to be front and center in national politics, because, of course, there was a lot of talk about the 6-week abortion ban throughout the course of the national campaign. There's a lot of talk about some of the books that were banned. And so I think that those are the sorts of conversations you're going to see play out, whether it be at the state level or at the federal level in the coming years.
Matt Gaetz has made a number of headlines, and his latest headline is a hint that he's considering a run for governor in Florida. What have lawmakers told you about his character both prior to and after the results of the Ethics Committee report?
Look, I think the question is, what is the future of Matt Gaetz? He signaled that he's not done with politics, despite the fact that he has, of course, had this report now become public. It did sink his chances for serving as Attorney General, which President-elect Trump tapped him for. And I think that there's going to be a lot of focus on whether Matt Gaetz can revive his political career. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Much of the state of Florida is along a body of water that is currently called the Gulf of Mexico. What do you make of Trump's suggestion to rename it the Gulf of America?
You know, it's so interesting, Rich, because some lawmakers, Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren, for example, says all of that talk is just a distraction from the confirmation hearings that are set to get underway next week. Is it? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I've been talking to sources close to the president-elect who say, look, he should be taken at face value. He's also not ruled out taking Greenland or the Panama Canal back by military force. Is he being serious about that? We'll have to see how it plays out. He certainly has some people who support that type of expansionist thinking and others who say that that's not the right way to be thinking right now. We'll have to see what happens. But what we do know is that his cabinet hearings are set to get underway next week. We'll be watching those really closely.
Thank you, Kristen. Meet the Press airs Sunday at 9 on NBC 12.